Yeah, can you hear you there, Pete?
Yeah,
Can you hear me all right?
yeah, mate, yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you, Tar. Thank you. Good evening, councillors, staff, members of the public. I declare the Ordinary Council meeting on the 29th of May 2024 open at 5:30 p.m. Everyone please stand. Everybody please stand. Roger. Okay. Roger. Okay. I wish to acknowledge the Gurra people as the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on and recognise their strength, resilience and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Please be seated. I must admit, I find that very disturbing that people in the gallery didn't stand tonight on National Reconciliation Week, and when I asked people to stand in the chamber, I expected...
Point of order.
Yes.
Point of order is the meeting was not opened. You don't have any authority over anybody unless the meeting is actually opened. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Blanco. Okay, recording of attendance. This meeting has been live streamed and audio recorded to facilitate community participations for minute-taking purposes, which may be released upon request of third parties. In accordance with Clause 616 of the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders Local Law 2014, members of the public are not permitted to use any visual, audio, electronic device or instrument to record the proceeding of any meeting unless the person has been permission to give so by the presiding member. Members of the public are also reminded that in accordance with Clause 617(4) Standing Orders, mobile phones must be switched off and not be used during the meeting. 3.1 Attendance. I note that not all councillors are present. Councillor Bennett is on a request leave of absence. Councillor Turner is on approval of absence. Councillor McRae is attending us by Teams. All attendees will be listed under 3.1 of the minutes. 3.2 Attendance by telephone, entertains communications. Councillor McRae has requested us to join via Teams. That approval was given. 3.3 Apologies. Acting CEO, do you have any apologies at all?
I have received none.
None, thank you. 3.4 Approved leaves of absence. Acting CEO, have you approved any approved leaves of absence at all?
Mr Mayor, I have two. I have Councillor Bennett and Councillor Turner.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 3.5 Disclosure of interest. Acting CEO, do you have any disclosures of interest at all tonight?
Yes, I have one. Councillor Rebello. Two.
You have two? Okay.
Right. This is for items 12.4.3, endorsement of concept for the Marina Shared Community Facility, as well as for item number 15.3, which is the Yacht Club venue refurbishment. In both cases, I'm declaring an impartiality or sort of a perceived interest. So we've taken fresh legal advice, and based on that, there is no other interest to be declared. It is impartiality that I would wish to declare. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Councillor Christensen.
And I also wish to declare an interest for item 15.4 as to the confidential attachments on the agenda tonight. I will be leaving the room as it's a financial and proximity interest. So.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Thank you. Item number 4, application for approval of absence. We received application for leave of absence from Councillor Bennett from the period of 13th of May to the 22nd of June 2024. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Butson. Christensen, Councillor Christensen. Second, Councillor Christensen. Is anyone against that motion? No. Motion's passed. Thank you, councillors. Item number 5, response to previous questions. Response to questions received at a special council meeting held on the 22nd of April 2024 and the ordinary council meeting held on the 24th of April 2024 have been provided to individuals and are detailed in the agenda. For benefit of the public gallery, this afternoon I received a request for a special electors meeting which will be held on the 19th of June to provide you opportunity to hear elected members' motions, and once there's any questions relating to this item will be held at that time. So keep that in mind, on the 19th of June, that will be held, the special electors meeting. Okay, item number 6, public time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an opportunity of members of the public to ask questions of council and regarding on tonight's agenda and business of local government. Clause 6.7-3, the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders, local law requires members of the public wish to ask questions to complete the question form and place it in the tray provided. If myself, the presiding member, determines that questions and statements are out of order due to offensive or objectionable expression or defamatory, they will not be reconsidered or recorded nor responded to. 6.1, public question time. I declare public question time open at 5:36 p.m. Acting CEO, do you have any questions at all? Any reflection?
I have received none, Mr Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Does any members of the public wish to ask any questions at all? Yes, do you come forward, say your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gillian Fisher. I live at 3 Mitchie Crescent, and just have a couple of questions tonight. I brought up about the 2023-24 annual report and a few things in that that needed attention. I thought the councillors would have picked that up in their perusal of it, and the mayor and the CEO, whatever else, they were basic mistakes. Just wondering if I was going to get any feedback about that.
I might just... Director, or that's...
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Thanks for the question. Yeah, they've been drafted and I believe they were released today, so you should be receiving those directly with an email to yourself.
Okay, so I'll be getting something in the mail. Okay. No worries. So also our questions that we spoke about at the the AGM of electors, when we'll be getting answers to them as well.
I think we'll probably wait till after we do the June 19th, we had the whole meeting, and then all the questions will come out after that.
Point of order.
Sorry.
That's not correct. I think the agenda, so the regs say that
Point of order through the chair.
14 days or something for it to be answered.
Okay. So 40 days for the meeting from the questions, but the actual meeting we held on the 19th of June for your motions.
Yeah, no, we're happy with that.
Yeah.
But so eventually it'll be 14 days from
Yes.
the previous,
Correct.
from the date of the AGM.
Yep.
Okay.
Can we clarify that? That's just off the top of my head.
I'll just check with the governance.
Just in addition, Mr Mayor, the minutes for the meeting are on the website and they also have the answers to those questions that were taken at the meeting.
Yep, okay,
Okay.
and that also leads to my next question. Thank you for reminding me.
Can I just stop you?
So-
We had another point of order. Can we address that?
Yes, again, can I ask that when the point of orders are called, we address the actual area in which the standing orders that we wish to call the point of order to, and not just go straight into a verbatim what people believe, please?
Your third question?
Oh yes, my third question was, when is the annual report going to be uploaded onto the website so we can all see?
I'll ask the director.
Yeah, I believe it is on the website. Just have another look under our council and then there'll be a section there called documents, which should be under there.
Oh, okay, I couldn't find it before. Okay,
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you have any more questions at all? Yes, Roger, come forward. State your name.
19 Edgar Street. Mr Mayor, can you explain to this gathering, including myself, why it was that you shut the AGM down when I pointed out to you from the floor that there were item numbers that had, agenda items that you had not covered? What was the reasoning behind that?
The reason was that there was a general business, and there were 3 items in the general business. There was questions, there was motions, and so forth and so forth. So it was probably a bit wrong on my behalf shutting the meeting down prematurely, but that's why we've now got elected meeting on the 19th of June to deal with those ones as well.
So we'll have the opportunity then, I
Yes.
assume, to bring those matters up.
Correct,
We want to
absolutely,
talk
yes.
about at that time, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, well, I thank you for giving us that opportunity.
Yep, no
Okay,
problem at all.
thank
Yep. Okay, thank you, Roger. Do you have any more public questions at all? Yes, Renee, come forward, state your name and address, please. Thank you.
Renee Coles, 58 Green Place, South Headland. Please bear with my voice as I had COVID over a month ago and I'm still suffering from the effects of it. So my first question towards council tonight is collect about the Bowls Club and the Yacht Club. When can us ratepayers expect a detailed report in regards to the expenditure to date since the town of Port Hedland obtained the properties and the scheduled maintenance that's yet to be made? For example, the inside roofing of the Bowls Club and also to the property inspection report. I do appreciate the council has made a significant change around the actual building and has tidied it up really, really well with the gardening, but when can we expect as ratepayers some kind of form of how much money has been spent on those facilities, please?
Sorry.
We can provide how much has been spent on the yacht club. I think it's in the vicinity of about $600,000. The bowling club is subject to an administration, and we are awaiting the administrator to come and deal with the belongings in there which don't belong to the town.
Sorry, just write down the answer. My next question is just recently South Headland was in amongst the water outage of the town. We know that the CEO is currently out of town. Allegedly, the Mayor was out of town. So my question is actually raised to Deputy Mayor. Was at any stage you're aware that allegedly the Mayor was out of town, and was the power handed to you to take control of being a mayor while allegedly the Mayor was out of town and actually help support the community? And did you know where he was at all times while this actually took place, please?
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So no, I wasn't aware. The Mayor was away on leave internationally. What other questions did you have? Sorry. No, I don't think I was aware. I don't know what he was doing while he's over there. What else did you ask? Sorry.
Okay, interesting. The next one is actually in regards to the footpath between Port and South. It's come to attention through many people that there's 3 to 4 spots requiring attention to these footpaths. As a recent footpath strategy has just been put in, there are 3 to 4 spots that actively have good slip trip hazards in that area and can potentially cause serious injury to somebody. Just recently, someone that was on their way there, they slipped and slide in areas. Yes, we know it was raining today, but there's definitely attention to detail that should be taken place, as we've just recently had a footpath strategy put in place. So when are we actually going to see a bit more care taken in that area? Because this is not the first time I've actually raised about the footpath between Port and South, and I'm talking about the part from the service station going up to the bridge, and as you're going over the bridge where the salt is, there's also areas where you've got spikes that can potentially cause harm to somebody. So I don't want Town of Port Hedland to have a serious accident on their hands and potentially having a lawsuit against you. So if that can be looked at, that'll be awesome, please.
Thank you. Do you have any more public questions at all? Yes, Jan, come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Carter. Jan Gillingham from 3 Simmons Street, Port Hedland. And Mayor Carter, I do acknowledge our traditional custodians of the land, always have done.
Thank you.
As part of a council that actually put this into our paperwork.
Correct.
But my question with that is, Mayor, when will our Mayor and Council look into re-including to acknowledge also our monarch, King Charles III, as our Queen was on the wall before, and also to include our federal governor of Australia and our state governor of Western Australia, please.
I'll take that one notice for you. Thank you.
Yes, please. I think
Thank you.
there's a lot of people who
Yes.
have been asking.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to also ask another question regarding trees. There's a lot of people have been saying about, with the lack, yes, it's raining today, but the lack of water to our trees because the water table with the salt all coming, very, very, very high tides, the salt coming up. We all know that Port Hedland is an island, or was an island, and then it became joined to South Hedland. But could our council please look into those trees that are actually dying because of the lack of water, which because of our rainfall is just, pretty much non-existent except at the moment. But I know that when I first came to Port Hedland, people were not even allowed to cut down trees that were growing. It was saying, we need our trees, we need it, etc. So it's just something that people are starting to realise that there are trees that have been there for years and they're just dying. And I know that our department in the depot are probably pretty aware of this. So it would be good to have a bit of an update, please.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan.
And also, I'd just like to speak on behalf of the children and families of the homeschool children. And I'd like to say on their behalf and also from myself, a big thank you for supporting the homeschool families and the children who are homeschooled. A lot of the children don't fit into that area of homeschooling, but thank you for allowing them to have a venue at the J.D. Hardy Centre on a Wednesday between 9 o'clock and 12. And I'm lucky enough to go down and spend a little bit of time doing some music with them there. And the staff there have been very accommodating. My question relating to this is that on the 12th of June, they have been told that the centre will be closed for an annual general meeting. And to keep the momentum of their activities, I'm presenting tonight to ask, could we look for an alternate venue, council venue possibly for them to use on that particular day, the 12th of June, it's a Wednesday, so they can continue the activities which they do undercover in air conditioning, etc. And I'm quite happy to talk to staff about that on behalf of the homeschoolers, but firstly to thank you for supporting the homeschool children and also for any venues you might be able to help them out with, either the Oval at Cook Point, the Colin Matheson Oval, or even the Civic Centre if it's not being used between 9 and 12 on a Wednesday when this arises. So if we could please look into that for them.
Oh, so between 9 and 12? Is it?
Between 9 and 12 on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday,
yes.
9 and 12.
And look, it's a very full venue on that day, but everybody fits in and the staff around there you've got things going really well. So
And
thank
how many people?
I think there's usually around about 14 children, and the families that also stay with the children, they do remain with the children during the activities. They're not just allowed to be on their own.
I understand.
Yeah, they do lots of activities, and if you ever do pop into the J.D. Hardy Centre on a Wednesday, you see that some of them do sewing activities, other ones they do activities, music, and also other activities in different learning areas, which is fantastic. All the while that the little toddlers are having their set of music and everything going on just next door. So it's quite a hive of activity down there.
We'll certainly find it. We'll certainly have a look for you.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, Jan.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Do you have any more public questions at all? Okay. I will close public question time at 5:49 p.m. (6.2) public statement time. I declare public statement time open at 5:49 p.m. As you can see, do you have any more public statements at all? Yeah. You have none? You have none?
I've received none.
Received none. Okay, thank you, CEO. Any members of the public for public statement times, please come forward, state your name and address. Yes, Roger, thank you.
Roger Higgins, 19 Edgar Street. I want to acknowledge that at the last meeting when I raised the issue of the lack of our head of the Commonwealth, we now have a photograph on the wall. So I'd like to thank those who were involved because it indicates that we do have ears that listen and we get a bit of action. So thank you for that.
I think we're just waiting for the photo to arrive in the post, but yeah, it's up.
Yeah, I know. We could have if it was near the flag. But look, I want to just raise in statement time a couple of things. And one is the fact that and it's very important that people understand where I'm coming from where I'm about to say. We had a referendum last year where 2/3 of the people said, we want to remain as we are, we don't need the voice. So it was 2/3 to 1/3, roughly. Now, our allegiance is to our king, as I said before, and we have our flag here, but what we don't need, it's divisive to have the other two flags either side. Now, I want people to hear me from the perspective of uniting us as a population, not dividing us. And the reality is that if the referendum, which was across Australia, gave us that vote, we should need to give consideration to just removing the other two flags and just having the Australian flag here as our, because that's the flag we serve. No, our Governor-General is appointed by the King. The governors of the state we acknowledge as being the right people to sit over us, and that's what we need to do. Now, unfortunately, what's been happening is that there's been division that's been created progressively over a period of time. And I can take it back to the early 2000s. When I lived in Darwin, where I was for 12 years, there was an ABC program of about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 episodes. And it was looking at some paintings in the Kimberley called the Bradshaw paintings. It was a very, very good program. And Peter, you probably know about the Bradshaw paintings. You may have even seen them. I haven't. Now, in my time here, one of the significant people whom I've had the pleasure of meeting on more than one occasion, and I've got to know quite well, is Professor Ian Plimer. Professor Ian Plimer sits on the board, I think, of Gina Reinhardt's companies. He's a very well-known geologist, and I've had some very, very significant conversations with him. I don't raise this question lightly, and I don't want people to misunderstand where I'm coming from. I want to see unity here within the council. I want to see unity across the nation, and I don't like seeing divisiveness which is being imposed upon us by people with other political agendas. Now, the Bradshaw paintings, Peter, as you would know well, depict all sorts of things. In the territory where I lived, the rock art of Arnhem Land is very well documented, and most of us have probably seen all sorts of images from that. For those of you who've never heard of the Bradshaw paintings, go and look them up afterwards and have a look at the images. They are in the area around Timber Creek, basically from Derby through that top end area. Is that right, Peter?
Correct.
Pretty right.
Yep.
And the figures that are represented in them
Stunning.
bear no bearing whatsoever to those that are in Arnhem Land. And my view is that this whole business of what's going on with the two flags has been imposed upon us because of people with other agendas. Now, the only conclusion, if you look at the Bradshaws, and Peter, you've probably seen more of them than I have, there are images there of animals, and there are images there of people wearing clothing and headdresses completely unlike those that we ever have seen in any of the traditional Aboriginal paintings and images. In one rock art, you can clearly see there's a deer, isn't there? I'm sure you've seen that one. Have you seen that in real life or not?
I've seen a lot of Bradshaw rock arts.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen it. Quite frankly, when I thought about what I might say tonight, I wanted to bring this together because I think that it's the way that we can bring the country together. We acknowledge that there are peoples from different backgrounds, etc. I want to come back to Professor Plimer. One of the things that it became apparent when you look at Bradshaw rock art is that it suggests that there must have been at some time a land bridge between the northern part of Australia and Asia for those people to be in that rock art. This troubled me until very recently when I heard Professor Plimer talk about a massive volcanic explosion which occurred in the Pacific about 18 months ago. It was somewhere, I can't remember exactly where it was, but it produced all sorts of effects. I had a conversation with him after that, and he said that what had happened about 70,000 years ago in the very eastern part of the Indonesian archipelago was there was an even bigger volcanic eruption which caused the sea level to rise in excess of 70, sorry, not the sea level, but the land mass under the sea to rise at least 70 metres and more. And when I heard that, I thought, well, there's the explanation as to how you get a land bridge between here and there. So just want to make everyone aware of this, because I don't want to see division in this country at all. But I think we need to give serious thought to not having those flags, because they don't represent any nations as such. They don't represent a people that have their own background. They are another group that make up our number. So I would like you just to consider what I've said and take action as council sees fit.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you very much.
And I must say, Roger, have you seen the book, the Bradshaw Rock Art book? There's a book out on the Bradshaw Rock Art. It's a stunning book. Yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Roger. Any more public statements at all? Yes, Renee. Got your water? It's okay.
Absolutely. Sorry. I find it disturbingly embarrassing the elected member chose this platform publicly to humiliate a member of this gallery community member via this live stream tonight, prior to opening of a meeting taking place and bringing, you know, a little bit of hurt and humiliation to them. So honestly, this now will bring me to my next point, a point that I was not going to even do tonight, but I'm taking the time, so now I'm going to do it. There's a lot of questions since council has been reinstated from the commissioner that has been taken on notice over a period of time. Simple questions that went and keep going unanswered. Even simpler one that was asked by Talona Pitt, Mr Mayor, are you Indigenous? And this was taken on notice. So now back to the water outage. As stated by Deputy Mayor, he had no correspondence, no handover in regards to, there was an acting CEO, but the CEO is not here in town, Mayor out of town. So who was here to actually help run and look after the town? Now, if that was handed over to the Deputy Mayor at the capacity for him to step in as Mayor, I would assume that the acting Deputy Mayor would have gone out of his way to ensure that services, people that were unable and not capable of borrowing and actually collecting water, reaching out to services, reaching out to Water Corp, ensuring that there was a safe delivery of water to these people instead of these people sitting at home, unable through disability reasons to be able to get basic water needs to their door. I would have assumed that the Deputy Mayor would have actually acted highly and professionally within this role. And I find it very disturbing that communication is lacking between members and no handover has been passed on, as I do believe this is one of the key things that has been actively spoken about, that handover will be taking place. As a ratepayer, I expect this to actually now be taken place, that is, this actually happens. Because there was people at home who could not have basic needs, water, because they were disabled and they were unable to actually get out of home, to get a taxi, to go and get something to quench their thirst. How embarrassing and how absolutely demoralising for these people. So if it was handed over correctly, these people would not have suffered in their own homes. People who relied on these services to have a simple bath because they might have been bedridden and they needed care at home. So they end up with bed sores because nobody was there to actively run this town. We pay people to run this town, and I do expect this to actually be put in place going forward, that we do not have this ever again happen to this community. Thank you.
Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, do it come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Gillian Fisher. I reside at 3 Mitchie Crescent. I just want to draw some attention to tonight's agenda. It's not a question, it will be a statement, obviously. It's in relation to the 12.1.1, 2024-25 notice of intention to levy differential rates. And if we go to page 21, and it's in reference to why we need to increase the rates for 2024-25. I'm actually personally against this. I don't think that our community, in terms of the economic climate that we're experiencing at the moment, that ratepayers can really take this on. When you look at the first dot point, it says raise sufficient yield to maintain current and additional services, future infrastructure growth and renewal to meet community expectations as outlined in the adopted Strategic Community Plan 2022-23. Now, my community expectations that our council will actually support community people by not increasing rates again, and why we think that we should automatically, like in my household, if I'm experiencing hardship, that's it, straight back to budget, keep within the budget. I don't know why the council itself doesn't adhere to the same rules. And where it says that we need to just keep increasing rates, so we need to increase and build and to fund future infrastructure growth. Sometimes you need to pull your belt in and not continue to do this. We don't all work for the big mining companies in town. We all like our baristas and our coffees and our, the hospitality workers and the people that work at the supermarket. So there's people suffering on the ground. We've just heard Renee just speaking in that sort of vein about the same thing. So when we look at this again tonight, please make sure you think of those people that do not work and we do not have big wages to accommodate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Hey, Gun. Warren Templeman, 30 Robinson Street, Port Hedland. I'm the president of the Port Hedland Game Fishing Club. Just as a club, to support the 12.43 endorsement of concept marina shed community facility. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Jan. Come forward, state your name and address, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Jan Gillingham, 3 Simmons Street, Port Hedland. Thank you. Mayor Carter and councils, when I attend a function which acknowledges our traditional custodians, I and others at functions in Perth or wherever it may be are not asked to stand. Even at the Walga conference, everyone remained seated when there was a welcome to country. Even at concerts, people still remain seated, even though there is a welcome to country or an acknowledgement of our custodians of our land. I do acknowledge our custodians very much, actually, and I acknowledge being an Australian, a naturalised Australian, and I do believe that we with over 72 nationalities in Port Hedland, perhaps even more now, that many of our nationalities are acknowledged wherever we go. I would feel more comfortable to be able to stand for our council, as always has been, as well as acknowledging our federal governor of Australia and our West Australian state governor, and also to continue to acknowledge the traditional custodians of our land that we're here today. I was part of a council when the notice of making a notice of recognising our traditional custodians. In fact, the words were actually written during Mayor Kelly Howlett's time and were spoken quite a number of times of the traditional owners of the land. And it was to a big surprise to us as councillors at the time that our Garryara people actually contacted us because they were quite concerned at the time because they said that we are not traditional owners of the land. We only care for the land. We are custodians of the land. It's not our land. It's not our land. We are here on this land. We have elders, and when the elders pass on, it gets passed on to the next elders to be looked after. And that's all over Australia. We have many, many, I know, in there. So on that premise, the wording was actually changed to, and officially changed to, custodians of the land. So I was part of that council when that happened, and we were very pleased that our Garryara people came and actually wrote and told us about that. So that's just a little bit of a history about that. However, I do feel that we all need to be united in honouring our important elders, both our Garryara people and the governments, in one statement. And I would really like our council to take this on board, that if there's a policy that includes these words, or need to be changed, or need to be looked at. Mayor Carter, you have stated that you are Indigenous descendant, etc., of Tasmania, I think. I'm really not sure about that. But what I'd like to say is that I may even have that in my body as well. Because I visited the Czech Republic, where I have family living, in 2016. And my family there were very, very excited to take me to a very special place about 30 minutes from where my family have lived for many hundreds of years. So there, a farmer uncovered people who dated back over 60,000 years. They found the remains of people, and I looked and saw them. I saw them through special humidified, temperature-controlled glass panels. People 10 foot tall. The men were 10 foot tall, the women a bit less. Children who had died around a fire with animals. And you can actually go and see them. The skin is still on their face, almost like mummified, and it's quite incredible, who were part of where mammoths were found and have been reconstructed in the museums there. So these are remains of skeletons. They were discovered nearly 10 years ago. And there is a wonderful selection of computer-orientated pictures of the skulls that were found, which were massive skulls, and it related, and it came all the way back to our Indigenous people of Australia. So this is over 60,000 years that they've dated these bones, and the DNA relates back to our Indigenous people. So I'm really quite excited that this is really sort of just developing there. So this relates also back to, I'm actually glad that Mr. Higgins tonight mentioned about the Bradshaw paintings, because I remember them being on the ABC television many years ago, and it depicted, all the pictures just depict European animals, European type people, and we can't go and see these. These just don't seem to exist in the ABC archives anymore. You try and search them. They had documentaries on them. So why, I don't know. But so this is before the mass of Australia, Australis, or whatever you like to call it, broke away from the Malaysian area. So this is what I read about when I was in the Czech Republic in 2016. So that has broken away and has become Australia at a much 20,000 years later. So obviously, leave it up to yourself to think. Those people are the custodians of the land, and they know that from thousands of years ago. So the Bradshaw paintings of those animals are testament that our Aboriginal people of Australia originated from areas between France and the Eastern Bloc countries of the Czech and Slovak, where the Tatra Mountains end, where they keep finding mammoths, because the ice is melting quite a lot. So there's even more remains that have been dated over 60,000 years that are still being discovered there now. I guess we just have to watch this space now for future updates, because I would say I like to watch this space too. However, I still like to say I do acknowledge the people in our room here and the people who are the custodians of the land, but I also acknowledge King Charles III, our flags there, and also our Governor-General of Australia and the Governor-General of Western Australia and the Department of Local Government as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
My name is Narelle Wells and I live at 2 Angus Way in South Hedland, and I'm a 17-year resident of Port Hedland. So I'm here tonight to have put on record my support for item 12.4.2 for the South Hedland landfill infrastructure that's being proposed. I believe this is a vital piece of infrastructure that our town desperately needs and is long overdue, and it will help the council meet its goals for cleaning up our environment in relation to our waste management strategies, and is something that we shouldn't keep pushing further and further behind, because it's now, it's happening, and if we don't do it now, it's something that we will regret as citizens of the world. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Do you have any more public statements at all? I will close public statement time at 6:12 p.m. 6.3, petition, deputation, presentation and submissions. There is none. Item number 7, questions from members without notice. Are there any questions from elected members at all? Thank you. Item number 8, announced by the presiding member without discussion. The presiding members are the month of April 2024 printed in the agenda. Item number 9, declaration for all members who give all due considerations to all matters contained in the business paper before the meeting. I'd like to invite your members by show of hands that they've given all consideration to matters contained in the agenda. A show of hands, please. Thank you very much. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, councillors. Item number 10, confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting. We have an office recommendation before us that the minutes of 3 previous meetings be recommended before the council before the special council meeting held on Wednesday the 30th of March 2024 to be a true and a correct record. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rents. Thank you. Any questions? Motion's passed. Thank you, councillors. Item number 11, reports on communities. There is nil. Councillors, tonight I'd like to bring to your attention, as you can see on the screen, a list of items that we consider en bloc. Standing orders 5.6 adopt the accession of resolution. Are there any reports that you'd like to see removed from this list? I'd also like to add one more to that list as well, which is 12.3.2, which is the Port Hedland Visitor Centre. So, sorry, it's on the bottom of the list. Sorry. Can council see those items on there? Is anything they want to take off that list to do en bloc?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, councillor.
12.1.1.
12.1.1, take it off. Yes.
12.1.2. 12.1.3.
12.2.3, yes.
Oh, no, that's fine. They can stay. 12.4.3.
Is that all, councillor? That's it. Okay. Okay, so we're leaving on the 12.2.1, 12.3.4 and 12.4.1. Is that okay, Ken? 12.3, yeah, sorry. Councillor Christensen?
Before we move on, can we
Yes.
just ensure that the items that we are agreeing to are on the screen before we move forward, please?
Yes, certainly, yep. I'll let Calvin get them, type them up. Yeah, that one's gone as well. There should be 3 items on there. Okay, councillor, happy with those? 12.2.1, 12.3.2, 12.3.4 and 12.4.1. Councillors happy to put those on block? Can I have a mover, please, to put them on block? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Thank you. Is anyone against? Motion's passed. Thank you, councillors. Uh, 12.1. 12.1.2, yep. Okay, item number 12, reports from officers, 12.1, corporate services, 12.1.1, 2024-25, notice of intent of levy differential rates. We have officer recognition before us that requires a simple majority vote. That council, 1, pursuant to section 6.363A of the Local Government Act 1995, endorse a proposed statement of objections and regional differential rates 2024-2025, and 2, pursuant to section 6.361 of the Local Government Act 1995, give public notice to invite submissions on its intention to propose the following differential rates and minimum payments. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Rents. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is anyone against the motion? Okay, go back. Councillor Rents.
Thank you very much. Well, as it stands at the moment, this is obviously just a proposal at this stage. The public and ourselves will have, that the public will be able to discuss and debate on it if they're unhappy and want to put things forward. At this stage, it's just a proposal, and this includes an increase that effectively reverts the 5% from last year. It was reduced. Look, I'm all for this. If we have to raise rates to contribute to the community's growth and infrastructure needs, especially with the way things are getting more expensive, nobody likes raising rates. But I feel like this proposal is done in such a way that is fairly well strategic. By the residents they'll see a minimal increase, where the benefits of that will be it allows us to then raise the rates for all the other areas, the commercial, the accommodation, the pastoral and the mining. So just from this increase, we go from the mining increase, it increases by millions. So we go from 46 million to 50 million. And then the accommodation payments, they also go up $200,000 sort of thing. So the benefit will be from the bigger players that have to pay a lot more. But everybody else, we hear everybody saying that the big mining players in town should have to pay more, and the only way that we can do that, unfortunately for the rules, is that everybody has to get raised together, because we've currently maxed that out. They can't be more than double than what the residents get rated. So to be able to get more out of them, we have to raise our rates, unfortunately. And I think that it's we have to remember that our rates are competitive and fair compared to the other councils in the Pilbara region, and keeping on top of it, making sure that we're not blowing out and being way too expensive compared to the likes of Karratha and Newman and even Broome, and that keeping us below or on par with them is a fair way to do it, and we end up making a lot more spendable money out of it. So again, it's just a proposal. I implore everybody to have a look into it and definitely have your say, and then it'll come down to be locked into the budget at the time. So at the moment, I'll leave it at that and see what everyone else has to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rents. Councillor Rebello.
Councillor Rents has spoken in fair detail. I would just like to reiterate that it is that the rates notice is going out for public sort of feedback, and so it just should at this time. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone against? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm well aware that this is just an advertising requirement the Local Government Act puts on us to levy rates, but it happens every year. And for the big players to be charged a lot more, that means the small people have to be charged a lot more. That's just the way it is. So let's not forget that in 2019 or 2018, you know, our rate base was about $23 million. And now we're proposing $73.5 million. So, you know, that's a massive increase in a short amount of time. And that's because we did charge industry. They never used to pay, and now they do pay. And when you take that into context, I'm not supportive of any rate increase, and I will not be endorsing any such proposal as set out in the officer's recommendation in part 1. The increase calculation from the 23-24 approved council rate budget of $68,058,000 to the proposed 24-25 rate income of $73.69 million is about 8.5% increase. Now, when we talk about increases like this, well, let's talk about the average. You know, because if the big players are paying more, the small players pay more. So when you have a look at the increase, it's 8.4%. Now, we've been told in briefings that, you know, the calculation was going to be around a 5% increase. So I'm telling you this so you're clear and people know that you're okay with increasing rates this much. Now, this is over and above your own council resolution that was endorsed through the long-term financial plan that saw a 3% yearly increase. Now, just in case you didn't look at the numbers, when you calculate the revised 23-24 budget estimate of $69.482 million, so that was done in the half-yearly review, in the rate income, and that's in attachment 12.1.3.1 on page 40. The proposed income is 73.695, so that's about a 6% increase. So what I'm telling you is the original budget numbers, if you calculate those, and what we're proposing, it's 8.4. If you calculate the number on the half-yearly review, you get a 6% increase. That's still double your proposed 3%. The correct process in setting the rate increase for any local government budget is to understand the operational costs associated with the day-to-day running of the town, and then factor in any capital expenditure, and then set the rate in the dollar to cover these costs. And that's detailed in the report tonight on page 20, which says local government imposes rates on properties within their district to raise revenue to fund the services and facilities provided to residents and visitors. The town's budget development works in reverse. We're setting the operational cost estimate by agreeing to the rate charge, and then we're spending up to the amount and significantly more. And that is stated in the conclusion section of this report on page 24. It says the proposed rating model for 24-25 to be advertised to ratepayers and community stakeholders community stakeholder feedback will inform the drafting of the town's revised long-term financial plan and annual budget. It is based on the proposed rating strategy 25 to 30 and seeks to establish a dedicated approach towards partially funding the town's forward capital works program. So it's interesting that the rating strategy is called the 25-30 because, you know, we're currently still in 24. So is that a future proposed rating strategy that we haven't adopted yet? I don't know, but obviously you would have read the report, so you would have the same questions I have. So we've not seen the operational budget expense yet. So how do you agree to increase rates by 8.4, 8.5%? And it also looks to me that the council is moving towards significantly reducing the projected capital expenditure because, you know, the council is starting to understand that spending 50 to 100 million more than we generate in rates per year only leads to financial disaster for the town and future councils. So this being the case, the council's strategy should be to live within your means without excessively rating the population. We should understand the significant financial pressures local people are under to stay in Hedland. We should understand the limited ability of our younger generations to stay in the town they grew up in because of the excessive costs of living and doing business as well. We should not be adding to those costs. Now, obviously, this is my opinion, and, you know, my opinion seems to draw a lot of attention from the council, you know, for them to try and rebut what I'm saying. Effectively, I think we're rating people too much. And, you know, the numbers just, you know, are clear to me. So I would like to hear why. I wouldn't like to hear, you know, you go after me about what I'm saying. I'd like to hear why you feel we should be charging ratepayers this amount of money when I've already told you that, you know, the amount of money we had in, you know, 2016, 2017. So we've had a significant increase. And I am actually not going to vote against this motion because it's only advertising. So, but I want to make it clear that when the budget time comes and we vote on the budget, you're going to be hearing from me if this council decides to increase rates, because I won't be supporting it. I'll clearly be making some noise over it. So thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay. Anyone else for? Anyone else against? Okay. No put to the vote. All those in favour? Motion's carried. Absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. .1.2 Strategic Internal Audit Strategic Internal Audit Plan FY 2023-24 to FY 2025-26. We have an office recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote that council endorses the implement of 3-year strategic internal audit plan as detailed in the report as per the attachment provided. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rents. Anyone against the motion? Okay, Councillor Christensen.
I think the report has been pretty well written and speaks thoroughly for itself. The administration has approached us and suggested there may be a better alternative way for restructuring the current audits that were agreed to. We're not saying that the audits will be moved, will be taken away and not be done. Or what we've been told is that again it will better realign with the circumstances that have been presented to us, being that we've got some restructuring happening and some pretty important documents being drafted. So from what I can see, unless again we haven't been told much more from other councillors around the table just yet, so I'll leave it at that and I'll wait to see what other people have to say against it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Councillor Rents.
Yeah. So what have I written here? This plan prioritises the critical risk areas, ensuring the resources are directed where they are needed most. The adjustments in the plan reflect current operational priorities as we're hearing them. How I see it is adopting this plan is likely to enhance the town's risk management, compliance and operational efficiency, despite some short-term disruptions. Rejecting the item would maintain stability, but at a cost of potentially ignoring high current risk areas and operating with an outdated plan. In that matter, again, I don't have too much background in internal auditing and that, so I'm more than happy to hear what other people's takes on it that are probably a bit more coursed in it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Is there anyone against? Yes, Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a correction, rejecting the item doesn't do anything other than allow the original decision to remain in place. So, you know, audits will still be done. It's just effectively suggesting to the administration that, you know, let's keep our current plan in place. Now, I'm against the motion because the town has had multiple findings that state the internal audit processes are inadequate and that these audit structures should be reviewed and implemented without delay. This item is seeking council to endorse the third and last audit planned for the financial year 23-24, the review of the customer service, social media and stakeholder engagement, and exchange that audit with the audit for the work health and safety and human resources review. Originally scheduled for the 24-25 financial year, and that is stated on page 27 of this report. The report states it would be inappropriate to carry out an internal review in an area currently undergoing such significant changes. Now, I think it would be beneficial to have the new department structure understand the technical audit requirements by doing an audit within that area. We've been told previously issues develop because of inexperience or lack of training. So keeping the plan in place educates the new department. Now, this report and recommendation to swap the reviews is based on the version 2 Paxton review, and that's in attachment 12.1.2.1, page 18. And the version 2 states, based upon the related risk rating of the two reviews at the time of the audit plan, was devised, this requested change does not appear inappropriate. So that's good. That sounds really good. But then it goes on to say, it should be noted that Paxton's did not perform a full review of the audit plan or the risk rating at the time, or verified the status or update of the customer service strategy. So it's not inappropriate, but they haven't reviewed it. So how can they come up with a recommendation that it's not inappropriate? So in light of the inconsistencies in the report, opinion, so there's two areas here, report opinion, okay, and the Paxton statement, I suggest that council just stick to the original audit requirements and have the administration complete the original audit requirements within the timeline already agreed to. That's all I have, thanks.
Steve, do you want to answer that at all?
Point of order. We're in debate.
Okay. Anyone else for? Anyone against? Yeah, put it to the vote. All those in favour? Oh, sorry, Sorry, Councillor.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks again for everyone debating. Again, debate's meant to be changing mindsets, and again, mine wasn't swayed just then. I still believe that we need to start to be able to trust and lean on one another, from administration through to council. Council take on advice, and we do our best to understand what we can. It's clear here that the administration are trying to explain to us and show that there's maybe higher risk areas that need to be brought forward and taken into consideration. I'm not going to go into the, I guess, the detail of the ARC committee and the do's and the don'ts. This review of this schedule of work was put together in my last meeting on that committee. Again, the detail and the conversations around the priority level of these reports weren't really gone into great detail. So I will welcome the administration, who are the subject matter experts in this area, to be able to direct us if they feel that there's better alternatives here. Looking at the order that you've suggested that's going to be brought forward, which is the work health and safety, human resources, I think it's pretty touching that this comes up as soon as we can. What we are also doing a review into our employment strategies, etc. So I think this will be some good timing to actually address, and like you said in the previous statement just before, about our operational needs and moving forward. So again, I welcome this being brought forward. Again, we're not saying the other audit won't be done. Each and every one of these audits will be done in due course, and I agree right now with this is a more high priority than the one that we will be pushing back. So again, I can only do nothing but support the suggestion for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Okay, we'll now put it to the vote. All those in favour? 4. All those against? 3. Motion's passed. 4-3. Thank you, councillors. Item number 12.1.3. We have office ranking before us, the simple majority vote, that council receive a statement of activity for the variance report, and 2, note the accounts paid under their delegated authority, and 3, receive the purchasing credit cards, and 4, receive the statement of investment summary report, and 5, receive the capital project for the period ending 30 April 2024, and 6, receive the year-to-date budget various actuals reports by directors. Can I have a mover, please?
I have some questions first before we go.
Yes, councillor.
We were told by email that the construction dispute between the Port Hedland Community Centre was finalised. So, can we get an explanation as to the payments made in our statement of financial activity on the 5th of the 4th? There's 2 payments there, one of 2 lawyers, one of 5,236, one of 5,080, and one of on the 18th of the 4th, one of 4,151. So I'm happy to take that on notice, but I want to know why we are still paying legal fees on on something that we've been told is over. And the second question is, I raised some matters in relation to a Long Tom Loop and indemnity insurance. And now on the 12th of the 4th, 2024, we have legal matters, Long Tom Loop, home indemnity insurance. Could I get a copy of that legal advice and find out why we are requesting legal advice on matters that I've asked? Have to take that on notice.
Take that on notice for you. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor
moved.
Christensen. Second, Councillor Blanco.
Second.
Is there anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. 12.4.1. Adoption of fees and charges for 2024-2025. We have officer recognition before us that requires a simple majority vote that council, 1, endorse the fees and charges as detailed for advertising and initiative submissions, and 2, consider any submissions received ahead of the fees and charges becoming effective on the 1st of July 2024. Can I have a mover, please? Move. Thank you, Councillor Christensen.
Mr. Mayor, can I just get a clarification? What are we on?
12.1.4.
12 point. You said 12.4.
12.1.4.
Okay, right. Thanks.
Okay. Can I have a seconder? 12.1.4. Yes, that's it. Yep. Can I get a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is anyone against the motion?
Mr. Mayor. I just had a question on that one. Well, am I going to have to vote against it, or are you going to answer my question?
I'll take it. What is your question?
I didn't see the concessions list in the confidential item, in the confidential area. Did we have the updated version in there?
I'll put through to Steve. I'll start Steve.
Thank you, Mr.
Version 7, I think it was.
The concessions are currently being considered as part of the budget preparation workshops. They are in the remit of council to decide upon those, and they will be endorsed or put up for adoption when we actually adopt the budget. Okay. So that's not part of the considerations at the moment. And the version 7 you're talking to, that's
thank you. Thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Blackham?
That's all.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Can I have a mover, please? Second. Okay. Is anyone against the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. 12.2.1 has already been done under. 12.3 is also withdrawn. Yep. 12.3.2 Courthouse Gallery has also been done. Yep. On to 12.3.3. Adoption of the business plan land transaction lot 5996 Cottier Drive, South Hedland. We have an officer recognized before us that requires an absolute majority vote. That council notes the business plan for the major land transaction on lot 5996 Cottier Drive, South Hedland be advertised in accordance with section 3.59 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 2, note that no public comment was received during the advertising period in relation to the proposed transaction. And 3, adopts a business plan of a major land transaction on lot 599 Cottier Drive, South Hedland, and proceeds to implement of the business plan. And 4, notes that the draft contract sale, confidential attachment, number 2 and number 3, for the acquisition of lot 5996 and authorises the CEO to enter into a contract sale that is not substantially different to what is attached and will make a payment with a deposit when required. Can I get a mover, please? Move. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Anyone against the motion? Okay, Councillor Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item, in my mind, has been on the agenda for some time in my short career on council. It's been no secret of this council that we are committed in any way, shape or form to, again, assisting and helping our community and those who aren't lucky enough to be in the luxurious life of the mining industry and have wages that would rival some of the bigger pays around the country. This project is, I think, long overdue, and I'll be the first to admit this is definitely not in 100% remit of the local government authority. However, we tend to dive in from a local government authority into a lot of areas that aren't in our remit. This will be the first time, in my opinion, that we're going into an area that is missing in this community. It is a fundamental area that has failed the government area that we preside in. Our key worker people who live in our town, this town will not go ahead unless we have those people in place doing these jobs. We've seen I guess the success story of the previous projects similar to this, similar to Osprey. Again, these sort of projects received a lot of hate when the Osprey was developed and completed because we missed the boat. We've all lived in this town. We've seen the ebbs and the flows of the boom and the bust cycle, and we are in the midst of a massive boom like we've never seen before with the diversification through not just mining but other mining sectors and also through renewable energy. So the sheer weight through the amount of people that will be coming to this town and wanting to call it home is going to increase before we know it. And this report talks through a median house rental price of about $700 to $1,000, and they're saying even that is untenable. We'll be looking within the space of a couple of years. I've seen $2,000 to $3,000 again on a regular basis, I believe. So delivering this plan, I think, is important. I spoke on this item when it first came up in relation to we need to be cautious on how much of our own money and the ratepayers' money we spend on this project. I still believe wholeheartedly that this is a project that the state, federal government would want to invest in, as we've seen some money already trickling through. I think it's onus on us to work more thoroughly with our state and federal government representatives to ensure that it's I guess, an amicable split with funding to put this project into place. But that aside, I'll draw reference to page 304 of the report where it dives into the cost, where it says the development has been included in the town's LTFP. Should the development cost differ from what has been included in the town's LTFP, the town council will be required to update the LTFP to reflect this difference. So usually the biggest concern we have is dollar values. So I urge all councillors, if it's worried about the dollar values on this, then we hold ourselves to account to ensure that the documentation through the LTFP, through the budgeting processes is, I guess, responsive of what we are happy with. No money will be spent until we adopt the budget again. So this is purely allowing the administration to keep going ahead with this project to deliver something that is, again, lacking in this community. Housing available for the key workers of this town. So I strongly encourage and hope that all councillors see that this business plan is a winner in delivering, I guess, some helpline. I'm not naive. This will not solve the problem. The report itself has quoted, I think it was 1,400 properties that we might be needing in the future. So again, this is in no way going to solve the problem. But I'm hoping that with a bit of catalyst change that we walk in first and we show, the community that we're committed to helping them, but also then showing the state and federal and industry that we are keen to partner with them to actually see this come through to fruition. So again, happy to hear other debates tonight and we'll go from there. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Councillor Bello.
Deputy Mayor has spoken in fair bit of detail. I'll just like to reiterate 2 points, and those are that firstly, this is meant as service worker accommodation, a need that has been long-standing, and this is for workers across retail, hospitality, childcare, tourism, education. At the moment, there's a big deficit of workers in those fields, and in a very big way, it is because of the dearth of housing. At the moment, the current average rents are $100 or $1,000 per week. Which brings me to the second point, that approving this gives administration the ability to now put forward a business plan, and I would feel that this project would receive state, federal, and even industry support. So I would urge council to go ahead and support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is there any against? Councillor Blanco.
I'll be brief on this one. We don't need 1,400 new, houses. We need thousands, and service workers' housing, social housing. That is a state government responsibility. I've talked about that in depth previously. I do not, and I will not support ratepayers' money being spent on housing, because the management issues that we are going to develop will be extensive. The additional costs that we are not thinking about right now will start popping up. This proposal will not make any dent in the housing, woes Port Hedland or the Pilbara has. I'm going to say it again, we should not be going into the housing business. It is a huge black hole of expenditure that we're going to open up to ourselves. There are too many additional costs with this proposal, and it will hugely burden the town's finances, and I'm not supportive of that. And at the end of the day, this is not your money. This is ratepayers' money, and you're not burdening yourselves, you're burdening the ratepayers of the town by making decisions that are going to increase our operational costs extensively. You've been here long enough. You should understand what I'm talking about when it comes to social housing, service workers' housing, and housing in general in the Pilbara, because of the area we're in, because of the cyclone status, because of insurance, and because of the costs of maintenance. It's not something that we should be going into. I understand that local governments are going into areas that they shouldn't because the state government has dropped the ball. This is not something we should be doing. It's going to come back to bite us, and I will not be supportive of it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Rents.
So straight off the bat, I definitely do agree with Councillor Blanco that these sort of issues are definitely state government issues, and they are should definitely be falling on their side of things. But there comes a point where standing back and waiting for something to happen is worse than doing nothing. Essentially, it is doing nothing. So there comes a point where we have to sort of pull up our bootstraps and lay down the hard yards to get stuff done for the people in town. While it is a cost, we obviously housing. I'm not in it myself or anything, or real estate, but it is a risky market. But it does state in the plan that we know it's not supposed to be profitable for us, which is hard to do. It's here to provide a service for the town and try and ease some pain for some people around the place. And as I said, it might be a small dent, but at least we have to be seen to be doing something to try and help the people and try and get it under wraps. I'm all in for support of it. We need to definitely support these type of developments, and while I do share some concerns about the payment and the ongoing payments and the additional costs that all come with it, I think at this stage it would be worth it, to see the expected 2.5% reduction in rental prices around the place for everybody, and yeah, hopefully you can get up and we can provide something for the people of the town and the people that need it the most and everything. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Rents. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Go, Councillor Christian, please.
As always, thanks everyone for the debate. Like I said before my speech, I don't think anyone's naive in the position thinking this is going to save us or this is going to save the housing crisis we see ourselves as does the rest of Australia. I'd like to think of us as the Ferrari of Australia, being the fact of the amount of money that comes through of this place. And even a small dent in a Ferrari will make the owner fairly upset, I'm hoping. So again, not naive, we understand this is a pebble in the ocean. However, we're hoping that once we show initiative and show that we are keen and committed to, helping the state government realise some responsibilities, that hopefully they come to the party in a lot bigger way than what they would have if we just kept asking for a handout. So, second to that, again, it's none of this goes ahead until council put pen to paper with allocating dollars through budgets. So again, this is another step forward for this project to go ahead and to understand what else is out there in relation to external funding, in relation to go get some detailed design to understand what the cost of this project really is going to be. Right now, respectfully, we are throwing some numbers out here in the LTFP, but we still do not really understand the end result of the construction costs. And like you stated, Councillor Blanco, there's going to be some upfront and some continual operational costs, which will, as it's stated, and again, the administration is not shying away. They tell you very black and white that the operational model is going to be determined at a later date. So again, it's to sit there and say no to a project of this calibre that again, and it's not going to fix a problem, but again, you're looking at potentially 75 people or families that may receive some life-changing assistance to stay in Cool Headland Home still, which is what we're all trying to do here. We want people to stay around Headland for as long as they want. As I have done, and I've been lucky enough to be able to do myself. So I'm hopeful that this will allow some opportunity for us to understand this project moving forward again, and I look forward to hopefully getting some more detailed and some more concrete information before we commit to dollars in our budget. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Okay, now put it to the vote. All those in favour? 5. Those against? Motion's carried 5-2. Thank you, councillors. Okay, 12.4.2. Award RFT 232423 South Hill Landfill Infrastructure Works. We have 2 office recommendations to consider. One recommendation is number 1, that requires an absolute majority vote. That council, 1, pursuits of section 6.8 of the Local Government Act 1995, approve allocated 7.76301 in the 2024-25 Capital Works budget, and 2, approve the transfer of $3,860,977 from the Waste Management Reserve Fund to the remainder of the project 10.12.6 of the Community Transfer Recycling Station. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Is anyone against the motion? Good. Councillor Rebello.
Right. So we are talking about the Community Transfer and Recycling Centre, something that the residents of Headland have been asking for a long time. And I do recognize here that the costs have gone up, but if we put this up to a later date, it will go further. The second part to this is the wastewater or the evaporation pond liner, and that is for which we are assigning $3 million. And that is something that actually makes money for the town. And so I would think that both of them are worthy causes to take forward. I would also want to hear from those who are against it, so I can answer, so I can compose my closing accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Councillor Christensen.
Rightio, I'll be full transparency. I did second it because I don't necessarily agree for or against it right now. This is one of those tricky ones for myself, and I've not made any secrets to it with our debates when we've had it during our briefing sessions. I think it's a no-brainer that the evaporation pond liner be replaced and that money goes forward. As we've seen, the amount of money we allocated for that from previous budgets is actually one of the first times it's come in under. So I think it's about time we can start celebrating getting some quotes that are a good surprise instead of a bad one. My biggest concern at the moment is in relation to the community transfer and recycling station. Now, again, this is where we start talking again about the hearts and the minds versus the head of myself as a councillor. I agree that this service is long overdue. I think it's not even just fiscally responsible, but it's environmentally responsible to start to transfer ourselves into a local government authority that takes waste and waste management seriously. We have many strategic documents that talk through our local government authority and our commitment to ensuring that Town of Port Hedland engage in good practices when it comes to environmental sustainability. So again, my mind is not necessarily made up for or against at the moment. I'm looking forward to hearing some other debates. I guess the hot topic on the conversation of tonight's debating is obviously the costs associated with anything that comes to this town. So very rarely will I ever see a motion come to this table that isn't wanted or warranted in some aspect. Our job as councillors here is to unfortunately make the hard decisions. We put ourselves in the seat, and I think we need to embrace these hard conversations and these decisions made. So looking at the current LTFP that we are working off, not the ones that we are reviewing currently, we've committed to an $800+ million 15-year capital works expenditure. So I think it's onus on us, if these are the sort of projects we are wanting to bring forward, that we start to put some priorities and start to have the ability to start saying no to these other low-level priority projects. So these sort of bigger priority projects can come ahead, and we have faith that these projects won't put that detriment back onto our ratepayers. So I know I haven't really helped to argue the point one way or another, but I'm hoping somebody else can help out with that aspect. So thanks for that.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Richardson. Anyone against? Yes, Councillor Blanco.
Righto. I was going through some of the meetings, some of the comments from council members at the last meeting, and one of the comments was that, the reason council don't listen to me is because I'm too harsh, right? So you might be feeling a little bit, your feelings might be getting a little bit hurt. But at the end of the day, if you want good financial management, you got to make hard decisions. And, you know, it surprises me that, you know, the majority of council has already agreed that, you know, a section of this one should be removed because we are looking, you know, at reducing our capital expenditure because we're not interested in spending between 50 and 100 million more than we earn each year, okay? So, you know, the idea is to bring it back into some realistic fashion where we're not going to spend $1 billion over and above what we earn in the next 10 years, because that is the plan. Not only is that the plan, the other part of the plan is that we're going to spend all of our savings and be at the whim, if you like, of the state government or the federal government to give us funding so we can move these projects ahead. That is not a good strategy moving forward. So I see there is an absolute majority on this one. So I'm going to foreshadow a motion so we don't lose you know, the piece in this which I'm happy with, and that's the evaporation pond liner. That you know, is clearly a money maker for the town. It's and the town does well out of that, so I have no problems with that. So, Mr. Mayor, my foreshadowed motion is that we remove the hang on, we remove the yeah, the project code 10126 and 10061 remain. That is the foreshadowed motion. Are you happy with that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we'll go with the opposite recommendation first, then I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not finished yet. I just thought I'd just throw that in so we all are clear.
Yep.
You know, that's probably all I've written in, you know, my comments, you know, to adjust the motion and the transfer station out and the ponds in, and let's get it happening. I understand that the transfer station has been there a long, long time, and you know, I have some questions around, you know, where it's going to be, where our tip is going to be, our new tip, right, and the integration. You know, I think we've got a lot more work to do, you know, to get it right, so we don't add any operational costs to, you know, the rubbish program that we have. But that's all I have for you. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Blanco. Is anyone else for? Anyone else against? Okay, we'll now vote. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, look, same again as what Councillor Blanco was saying, that I'm also all for the evaporation pond liner. I think that's a no-brainer, and if we can, we should definitely keep that one in there. The parts that I don't agree with, again, I want to preface this with saying that absolutely all for the transfer station and the tip shop and the recycling station. I'm all for that. I want it and definitely want to deliver that, but just not for the current price that we're talking about. When we look at the plans and what we're getting out of what we're putting into it, I just think it's not only is it's excessive for what it is, I think that, yeah, it'd be sort of financially irresponsible, and we sort of can't just keep approving higher and higher costs just because everybody wants it, and we've committed to it. I know we've committed to it in the CBP, and you know, a lot of community engagement. As I said, I want it as well, but it comes to a point where you start pushing back with the prices, and you know, getting something that's acceptable to us, but also within our budget and that we can afford going forward. We don't want to put any more stress on the town, and we definitely need to sort of stop gold plating everything and start delivering what the community is asking for in a practical and cost effective manner. As I said, this is Headland. When people say especially around the tip shop, people likely envision the old setup that we had, but it was just the simple operation of the old man in the caravan and a big flat with a heap of organised junk for people to go pick through. I don't think anyone's sort of envisioning a $4.2 million Bunnings-like shed to walk around with shelves and things. So I think we just need to sort of, again, I know by only doing it later, the prices will go up with inflation and things like that and with time. But I think we need to sort of calculate for that as well and do it smarter and come back with something that will work, will fulfil the needs, but it also be a lot more cost effective, because at the moment, as I said, as Councillor Blanco said, the spending is nice to do, but it gets to a point where we're going to run out of money and we'll all be left holding the bag. So we'll start making some cuts somewhere. Again, love the design, don't have a problem with the design or the thing. It's just the idea, the price of it is just doesn't. I think we should reconsider it and ensure that we're making the right financial decisions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bello, someone please.
All right. I feel the sentiment around council is that everybody would like a community transfer and recycling station, but we don't want to spend what it is for it at this time. So let me make my 3 points. The first being that the costs that we are saying are associated today, I would believe that administration has gone back and sought out what they could do in the most practical terms, and this is the cost they've come back with. So if we are thinking of putting this up in a few years' time, be sure that the costs would be higher. Second, having a transfer station and having this sort of recycling ensures that we save on landfill area, and that is invaluable. I would urge council to have a big think about the fact that that is also to be considered. I would also be hopeful that with the new green energy projects, that there is a possibility of some grants coming our way. Possibly I am one of the optimistic types, but I would think there is a very good brand building exercise and I want them to hear this, and therefore I'm saying for the green energy ones, this is a very good place to invest in. I also recognize members sitting at this point, members of our community who did ask for a tip shop. And I would think that we have a responsibility to them to deliver this, not for today, but for the future generations. So I would urge council to be future focused. Be bold, be future focused. I understand the cost bit, but I would say think about the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Barrow. We'll now vote on the office recommendation first. All those in favour? All those against? Okay, motion's lost. Okay, we'll now vote on the...
Through the chair, before we continue on to the motion.
Certainly.
Can I just ask a question, if I may, in relation to this?
Certainly, yes.
Was this not tendered together, and are we able to separate, and are the costs going to be the same if we do separate it?
Yes, they were tendered as separable portions.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so we now vote on the foreshadow recommendations. All those in favour?
Point of order through the chair.
Sorry.
May I ask that we have it on the screen first before we
Oh,
start
sorry,
go
yeah.
through the debate again, please?
All right. You working on it? Okay.
I don't know where that 1155 comes from.
Gotcha.
Through the chair, if I may, can we call a 5-minute recess so we can have a comfort break while we organise this, please?
Certainly, yeah. We'll probably have a break from 7:15. I'll close the meeting at 7:15. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, councillors. I've got a little short break. I'll reopen the meeting at 7:25 p.m. So on the screen, we have, where is it? The foreshadow motion. Okay.
Mr Mayor, I
Yes.
have some questions on that.
Of your shadow motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, on the item that is in front of us.
Yes.
The idea is to reduce costs. So we've pulled out 4.215 million, which was funded through the Waste Management Reserve. This motion here says, you know, now it's revised, but it's got 3 million in borrowings, so we're still going to borrow. Now I suggest that we move the 3,060,000 over to Waste Management Reserve and use the money that we have in there rather than pull a loan out for this.
So it's like written like that?
Pardon?
Written like that now, 3 point.
No. Move 3,060,324 from
Yep.
borrowings to Waste Management Reserve.
Okay.
No, you won't.
Just have a quick chat. So is that it now? That's.
That's right. We need to give the grant back,
Who's the grant with?
130.
I'll get the grant back. Okay.
Mate. Who knows? I don't know.
Let's revoke it.
We'll just give it.
Revoke it. We'll fix it. Okay. You happy with that, Councillor?
That's fine, thank you, Mr Mayor. I've moved that, haven't I? Yep.
You good with that? Is there a seconder? Councillor Butson. You against? Against? Okay. Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. You know, it's quite, I've talked about this many times. It's, you know, like I said previously, the council is starting to understand that we can't put a program in place that, you know, spends $800 to $1 billion of ratepayers' money over and above the operational costs of the town or the current rate structure that we have. So, you know, in order to come back and live within our means, you know, we need to make some cuts. And I know people aren't going to be happy about it. And I know we've been told that we're going to have to tell the community. Well, I'm telling the community, you know, we can't spend $1 billion over and above what we earn over the next 10 years. People are feeling the financial pain by living in Headland. We need to come back to basics. We need to spend on our core infrastructure, you know, and manage it correctly, and spend our ratepayers' money on maintaining what we have and replacing what we have, one thing at a time. Let's do one project. Let's do it well, and then move on. And eventually, you know, in 15 years, we should have 15 new things in town. Currently, you know, we've got a lot of stuff on the cards, and we really don't have much to show for it. So, you know, I'm happy that the council is now starting to see that, you know, the financial outlook over the next 10 or 15 years that was adopted by a previous council might be unrealistic, and that we move forward in a more realistic fashion and live within our means. And you know, that's basically all there is to it. You know, this item will be done at some stage. There's no doubt about that, but it will be, you know, done more effectively and efficiently. I reject any notion that, you know, leaving these or pushing these things out, you know, will cost us significantly more. You know, there is, you know, from what I can read in the item, you know, there's a 60 to 80% contingency on this. So, you know, effectively they say, okay, you know, it's going to, you know, the realistic price is 2 million, but we're going to have to take it up to 4 million because of the way contractors are in town. You know, they're snowed under, they haven't got staff, they haven't got housing, the prices are just out of control. So I think, you know, into the future with, you know, the relationships we create with businesses in the town, I think we can, you know, force the prices down by not saying yes to everything, and, you know, saying to businesses out there that, no, we're not going to accept an 80% above, you know, normal price. So, you know, that's all I have to say on that, and I hope the council continues to, you know, run along these lines and save ratepayers, you know, some financial stress. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor Butson.
I don't have much more to add. I think Councillor Blanco has actually explained and said what he has to say, and I think that it's not that we're not going to have a chip shop, but you know, we look at it and maybe we'll have to rescale it and just see how we go in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Over against Councillor Rowley.
I'm not against the evaporation pond liner. That would be ridiculous. So I'm for it, but I'm here to reiterate two things. One is that when we are saying that we are spending an X amount of money for a new community transfer center and for a recycling center, that is coming out of landfill reserve. So we are being fiscally responsible. We aren't taxing the ratepayers. This is coming out of let me reiterate this. This is coming out of landfill reserve. The second point I'd like to make is that with our industry, with the diversification and with that side growing further, we are going to use our landfill more. So having this recycling center and having it up and running in time is a wise thing to do. Then at the end of the day, it is democracy. It is what the council decides, and we go with that. But I'd like to remind council that it is an X cost now. It'll cost much more later. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bello. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Ritz.
Yeah, again, I'll just sort of touch on what I was mentioning before. Evaporation ponds line up, absolute no-brainer. We need that. That makes us money, and from what I hear, it's sort of the best in the northwest, and people come from all around to use it. So that's a good thing. And again, with the whole cost and overspending discussion, it is understandable. You know, it's coming from the landfill reserve, but we have to remember that landfill reserve is there to pay for a new, very expensive landfill in quite a long time away. So we can't sort of keep dipping into that. While I don't mind to, if we have to, we will. But it comes back down to that what we ask for in town and what we get has to be on par with everyone's expectations, but for the right price. There's no point in overpaying, twice as much of what something is worth just because we have to do it. It's no different to, living within your means. Everybody would like a new car, but if you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. Or you could take out a massive loan and then have to live with that until you pay it off. We're definitely not saying that we need to push it and come back to it, in a few years or not worry about it for now. All we're saying is that, yes, while we do understand that the cost, if we wanted to build exactly what is being proposed, again, in a few years' time, it will cost more, without a doubt. What we're challenging is, do we need to build what is on offer here? What is done? The transfer station and recycling station, as I said, it's a definite need for the community, definitely wanted, and I couldn't agree more with everybody saying that this is what we need to do to curb the waste that's going into the landfill. It's a no-brainer, but as I said, there's no point in spending 2 to 3 times as much as we need to achieve that right here, right now, when we could just go away, have a look at it, bring it back to the table with something more in line with our budget and something that we can afford. Other than that, the foreshadowed motion, absolutely all for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Blanco.
Else talk. Okay. Obviously, I don't have any issues with the construction of the ponds. I know we make a fair bit of money out of them, but council, you need to understand that everything we do and decide costs our people, the people that live in this town. We want to keep them here. All the money that we play with is ratepayers' money. It's not ours, it's theirs. And the reason we have a landfill reserve is because we actually charge them through our fees and charges. So not only are we charging them rates, but if they want to use the landfill, they're getting charged for that as well. Okay, so let's do the ponds. Let's make some money out of it, and it'll go into the landfill reserve, and then we'll do the construction of the station that we've got there with money that we've generated out of a good business model that we're creating here, and save ratepayers the heartache of lifting rates again. So I hope everybody votes for it, because it's actually a good proposal that we get the ponds liners done so we can make some money. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. Okay, 12.4.3, endorsement of the Concept Marina Shared Community Facility. We have offered a before us that requires a simple majority vote. Sorry.
You've got to award the tender.
Oh. Let's change them.
For the sum of 306, 324.
Oh, 306.24. Okay. So let's add that value there into here.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. Okay, we have offered already before us that requires a simple majority vote that council award RFT 232423, the South Headland Landfill Infrastructure Works, to the preferred tender to a total amount of the contract value of $3,006,324, with works commencing on the 1st of July 2024. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr. Mayor, can you just wait for 1 minute? So, we're just awarding the contract on the liners.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Have a second, please. Thank you, Councillor Rents. Is anyone against the motion? No, motion is carried. Absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Okay, item number 12.4.3, the endorsement of the Concept Marina Shared Community Facility. We have offers before us that requires a simple majority vote. That Council 1, endorse a concept plan for the Marina Shared Community Facility, and 2, endorse a proposed staging plan as displayed on the screen, and 3, authorise a business case to be commissioned to support the grant funding opportunities to develop and deliver the endorsed concept of the shared community facility. And 4, note that all detailed design will not commence until grant funding targets have been achieved. Can I have a mover, please? Oh, certainly, yes. Okay.
So I'm meant to read this out.
Certainly.
With regard to item number 12.4.3, endorsement of concept for Marina Shared Facility, I'd like to disclose that I have an impartiality interest because my husband works for Pilbara Ports. As a consequence, there might be a perception that my impartiality on the matter may be affected. I declare that I will consider this matter on its merits and vote accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bello. Okay, can I have a mover, please? Was that you, right? Well, that's it. I was waiting for someone to move it, that's all. Okay. I was waiting, Councillor, okay. Okay, motion's lapsed, okay. Item number 13, urgent notice of business item, there is nil. Item number 14, urgent notice has been given. 14.1, the Audit Risk Compliance Committee amend terms of reference. A notice of motion was passed at the April Ordinary Council meeting to request the CEO present and amend the Audit Risk Compliance Committee terms of reference to the 29 May 2024 Ordinary Council meeting. We have officer recommendation before us that recommends number 1, that requires a simple majority vote. The Council adopts and amend the Audit Risk Compliance terms of reference. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Rents. Move a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Butson. Is anyone against the motion? Okay, Councillor Rents.
Well, first of all, I definitely want to preface these debate notes to say that I must acknowledge that I've never served on an audit or risk compliance committee or be fully aware of the intricacies involved. However, from what I can review and understand of the new terms of reference for the ARC, look good and well structured. I believe these amendments aim to enhance the committee's effectiveness. There is a few parts, as I said, in my limited sort of understanding and involvement in it, that there are a few concerns and considerations, but I have no doubt that we can operate efficiently under them. Yeah, I suppose I'll just leave it at that and see what else everyone has to say before I continue. Cheers.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Ince. Councillor Butson.
I have no further.
Sorry? Nothing further? Okay. Anyone against that motion? Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I've spoken extensively on this as the chair. I don't like the terms of reference. I think the terms of reference should be you know, there should be a deep discussion with the council, the audit committee, and the administration on what the terms of reference should be. I've stated many times that I don't believe the terms of reference allows us to interrogate the finances, and that's why I'm not supporting it. So, and that's all I have to say. I've said it in depth previously, so that's all I have on this one.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Christensen.
Disappointed to hear councillor suggesting that there wasn't enough time, I guess, put to allow this to take place. Last time I checked, the Art Committee had 3 attempts to have this terms of reference put together as they would have deemed fit to be able to bring to us to talk to it. Unfortunately, I had to interject and ask for this to be brought to us directly because we could not get any communication from the Art Committee in relation to the terms of reference. Again, opportunities were made available to that
point
committee.
of order.
Councillor Black.
You know, there's a section in the, I don't have the standing orders with me, but there's a section in there that states the truth must be told by council members. So I object to that line of questioning when the committee had multiple meetings with the administration on why it did not like the terms of reference. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Continue, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, back onto my talking points. I think it's onus on us to understand and reiterate that this committee has changed since its inception, and it will continue to change. This is no longer just a standalone finance committee. This committee is responsible for a hell of a lot more in relation to compliance, to policies, risks, legislation, and the list goes on. So I hope that council approve this. As we all know, we are 1 councillor short on this committee already from the existing terms of reference. But this current terms of reference allow for some, in my mind, some important changes. It talks around the incorporation of proxies. My time served in the last 2 years on the Art Committee, we had issues with trying to lock in a meeting with councillors' availability with the busy lives that we have. So I love the idea that we are now making it more available and more easy for us to find that quorum. It allows for an additional 3 councillors to be on to actually incorporate and encourage conversations, which Councillor Blanco, I believe you said yourself, you'd love to see a lot more, if not all of us on this committee, and I agree. I think this terms of reference steps in that direction a hell of a lot quicker. And the second one is that you see there as well, it talks around having an independent member of this board as well, where feasible and where appropriate. So I think you can see some intent here to try and grow and develop this Art Committee. And again, I've got no doubt this must be amended and changed again when it comes to, or if any other member wishes to address it at a later date. So I hope that council see it fit tonight to approve these, so we can then continue on to get our proxies and other councillors appointed to this board to do a job that it's asked to be done for us. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Anyone against? Anyone else for? Sum up, Councillor Ince.
Yeah, so again, all very good points, and I can't, as I say, can't talk to Councillor Blanco's concerns about not having enough sort of availability to interrogate from the financials and that. I think that while I believe these new terms of reference are acceptable and they aim to enhance the ARC's effectiveness, it is important to address the potential concerns that are in there with these new added bits and pieces. I don't think it's a reason to not let it move forward. I hope that we can get it forward, and then the ARC can operate efficiently. So yeah, I support the amended terms of reference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Rents. Can we now put it to the vote? All those in favour? Motion is carried, absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Okay, we're going to go to that now. Yes, we're here. Yep. So, officer, recommendation number 2, that council adopts 3 elected members of council become proxies on the Member Audit Risk Finance Committee.
Point of order for the chair.
Yes, sorry.
Do you not want to appoint the elected members
At
to
the
the
front,
actual
at the start, yes.
meeting start?
Yeah, sorry, I got it. Back.
Sorry, the
Yeah.
screen went up and down and we were...
Yeah. Okay, so 1 appoints 3 elected members to council to become members of the Audit and Risk Finance Compliance Committee. Do any councillors that wish to be on this committee? Yes. Councillor Christensen. So we have Councillor Turner, Councillor Button and... No. Okay, proxies. 2, appoint up to 3 elected members to become deputy proxies, members of the Audit and Risk Finance Committee. Is any councillors like to be proxies? Councillor Rebello and Councillor McRae. Okay, can I have a mover on that, please? Thank you. Have a seconder, please. Councillor Reds, thank you. Is anyone against that motion? No, motion is carried, absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Okay, we move on to item
Mr.
number...
Mayor, can we just go back and have a look at the vote on the previous item?
Is it absolute majority?
It was written in, that's it.
Is it absolute majority? Yes.
Yeah, thanks, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, okay. Item number 15, which meeting may be closed, confidential matters. We have 5 confidential matters to consider by council tonight. We have a procedural motion that council close the meeting to members of the public as prescribed under section 5.232 of the Local Government Act 1995 to consider items 15.1, 15.2, 15.3, 15.4 and 15.5. Can I have a mover please to go in? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. I have a seconder please. Councillor Rebello, thank you. Is anyone against that motion? Okay, motion is carried, thank you. I declare the meeting closed to the public at 7:54 p.m. I kindly request the members of the public to leave the chamber. Thank you for your attendance tonight. We welcome you and to remain outside if you want to join later on after the decision has been made. Thank you. p.m. Nobody there. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so item number, first one under the confidential item was 515.1, town debtors. The council received the report of the town's debts to write off $136,493.34 of rate debt owed per in the report, and 2, endorses the debt recovery actions detailed in the report, and 4, endorses formal debt recovery proceedings under section 668, exercise the power to sell land for original detail within the report. The motion was carried, simple majority. 15.2, land tenure outcome South Headland. The council note that the state has offered to lease lot 601 to the town. Note, accepting the leasehold tenure over the site does not pursue the town from negotiating a pathway to freehold tenure at a later date. Number 3, notes the leasehold will be struck under the manner where the town is not required to make any repayments until the sublease payment is made from Pacific Partners are received. And 4, note that the town will be required to revoke its management order over the site for the duration of the lease, and that the management order will be retained until once the lease period ends. And 5, confirms the exceptional financial impact of the transaction will not significantly different to what detailed in the business plan for a major land transaction on lot 601 Parra Court, South Headland, as adopted by council by resolution SCM 20232458. And 6, accepts the state offer to lease the land to the value listed in the detailed section of the report per annum, as allocated the amounts in the 2024-25 budget. And 7, authorise the CEO or his delegate to revoke the town management order over lot 601 in order to lease the site. And 8, authorise the CEO or his delegate to negotiate a lease within the state that includes a requirement for the state to restate the town's management order over lot 601 at the end of the lease term. Number 9, authorise the CEO or his delegate to negotiate an agreement to sublease with the Pacific Partners, require them to sublease to develop 601 as per alignment. And number 10, notes that both leases will return to council at the later date for endorsement. The motion was carried, absolute majority. 15.3, Yacht Club venue refurbishment. The council notes the content of the report for hospitality services, and 2, notes the assessment of the cost recommendation work as detailed in the body of this report, and 3, notes that preferred proponent has agreed in principle to lease the premises on the condition recommended works are completed by the town, and that may defer the recommended works complies with preferable proponent's willingness to lease the premises. The motion was carried, absolute majority. And number 2, the council allocates funds equal to the assessment costs, including contingency for recommendation works in the 2024-25 annual capital works budget, and authorise the CEO or its delegate to undertake the recommendation works in the 2024-25 financial year. And 2, authorise the CEO to enter agreement with the preferred component requiring them to lease the yacht club premises subject to the conditions previously outlined in the contents of the report. And 3, endorse submission of the regional development or RED grant to continue the cost of the contribute to the cost of the works. The motion was carried. 15.4, purchase of residential properties. The one that council was approved the purchase of 4 units in Calm Court, South Headland, and 2, pursuant to section 6.8 of the Local Government Act 1995, authorised expenditure to be funded out of the town of Port Hedland Housing Reserve. And 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate, execute legal instruments within the delegated set within the report required to release the purchase of the said properties. The motion was lost. 15.5, endorsement of appointment of Director Regulated Services. The council, with respect to the recruitment of the suitable qualified Director Regulated Services, pursuant to section 5.37 of the Local Government Act 1995, received advice from the Chief Executive Officer that he purposes the employer of the preferred candidate A as identified in the confidential report as a senior employee of the town of Port Hedland in the role of Director Regulated Services. The motion was carried, absolute majority. Item number 16, closure. Someone's leaving us, Louise. Oh, it's been lovely having you here, and I'm sure you had a wonderful time in Port Hedland, and I'm sure the directors here and the staff have welcomed you, and hope you've enjoyed your time here. Yeah, thank you very, very much, and we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your service and what you do for the town. Thank you. So 16, closure. 16.1, the next ordinary council meeting will be held on Tuesday, the 25th of June, 2023, commencing at 5:30 p.m. 16.2, closure. Being there no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 8:49 p.m. I'd like to thank councils, members of the public, CEO, staff for their attendance this evening. Thank you.